fictional village of Titfield, the branch line was the centre of activity. Everyone would use it to travel to the nearest town of Mallingford and to the market. Goods and packages would arrive from faraway places. Everyone loved seeing the train. The residents of Titfield are horrified to learn that the local branch line is going to be shut down, so the local vicar and the village squire decide to take over the running of the railway and keep it going. They head to the local pub and convince one of the wealthy locals to back the enterprise, and a group of the pub regulars all volunteer. They have a month to prove that they can run it and keep it open before they are inspected by the Ministry of Transport, who can make the order permanent. Not everyone is pleased with the plans. The local bus operators think that the bus is much better and try everything they can to hamper the plans of keeping the railway running, including blocking the roads and emptying the train's water tank. They even go as far as derailing the steam train that is entitled to them from British Rail. As the inspection approaches, everyone is downhearted since they have no working locomotive to keep the line open. Then they come up with the idea of borrowing a train from the Mallingford rail yards. Two of the locals, who are a little drunk, manage to steal the train but end up crashing it, and they are promptly arrested. There is another option though, the first ever train that was on the line, the Thunderbolt, which is housed at the Mallingford Museum. They managed to get the train on the line and then use the new engine for their branch line. They have to make the run from Titfield to Mallingford for the inspection. Even though there are a few issues, the train makes its glorious journey and the branch line is saved. The Titfield Thunderbolt is a quaint little story from Ealing Studios. In fact, it was the first movie they produced in Technicolor. It stars Stanley Holloway, Norton Wayne, George Ralph, John Gregson and Sid James, to name a few. It was directed by Charles Crichton, who is known for directing episodes of The Avengers, The Adventures of Black Beauty and Space 1999, and for movies like The Lavender Hill Mob and A Fish Called Wanda. In the opening credits, there is a line that states, "The events and characters portrayed in this film are wholly fictitious." However, the movie was written by T.E.B. Clarke, who took a lot of inspiration from the book Railway Adventure by L.C.T. Rolt, which is based on the events of the true story from the Titfield Railway in Wales, which was restored by locals and then became the world's first heritage railway run by volunteers. Some of the events in the movie actually took place on the Titfield Railway. The scene where the water tank was sabotaged and the locals ran to the local stream and carried water to the engine was recounted from the book by Rolt. Production scouts were sent out to look for a railway where the movie could be shot. It had to have a single track, a mainline junction, a level crossing, a quaint branch line terminus, all set in beautiful scenery. A number of locations were talked about: the Mid-Suffolk Light Railway, the Kent and East Sussex Railway, the Kelvedon and Tollesbury Light Railway, and Lambourne Valley. In the end, most of the movie was shot near Bath in Somerset, on the Camerton branch of the Bristol and North Somerset Railway, along the Cambrook Valley between Camerton and Limpley. The line had been closed since February of 1951, but it was reopened for filming, which took place in 1952. Titfield Railway was in fact Monkerton Combe Station, just outside of Bath. The opening scene shows Milford Viaduct of the Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway. Mallingford Station at the end of the movie is actually the Bath Road bridge end of the Bristol Temple Mead Station. In order to stop the plans of the train, there is a scene where the track is removed and a GWR 1400 class 1401 crashes in dramatic fashion. The special effects were actually shot at Ealing Studios, and it was a scale model that was used. The pre-accident 1400 engine was actually two engines. A 1401 was used in most of the shots, but now and then a sister engine of a 1450 replaced it for some of the filming. The original 1401 was scrapped after the movie, but the 1450 has been preserved and currently resides in the Severn Valley Railway. In the scene where the engine is stolen, the engine is a wooden mock-up that's mounted on a lorry chassis. If you look carefully, you can see the wheels of the lorry behind the wheels of the engine. The rest of these scenes were filmed in Woodstock, a market town in Oxfordshire, and in Richmond Park in London. The actual Titfield Thunderbolt was locomotive Lion, on loan from the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, and was built in 1838, making it 115 years old when the movie came out. Since this was Ealing Studios' first Technicolor movie, it was repainted in a colourful red and green to make the colours really stand out on the screen. When the Thunderbolt is removed by the residents from the Mallingford Museum, it's actually another reconstruction. Somehow I don't see a group of people getting a train like that, weighing in the region of 100 tons, just rolling it down a ramp like this. Poor Lion could only get up to 15 miles an hour under its own steam, so in many shots, one of two 1400 class engines would push or pull Lion until it was up to speed and then accelerate or brake so as not to be seen in the shot. The movie wasn't particularly well received by the critics when it came out in March of 1953. Ivan Butler of Cinema in Britain said of it, "A minor Ealing, perhaps, even a little tired towards the evening of their long comedy day, but a very pleasant sunset for all that." Hugh Sampson of Picturegoer seemed to think that none of the crew were train buffs. Odd point about this railway location. Not a single railway enthusiast could be found in the whole crew. T.E.B. Tibby Clark wrote the script, loathes trains. Producer Michael Truman can't get out of them fast enough, and director Crichton, well, you won't find him taking engine numbers at Paddington Station. Okay, so the movie wasn't made by train enthusiasts, but it was made for them. An inspiring little film that shows how important branch lines were to communities and how, when those communities pull together, they can make a change.
Stop it, William. We're the staff.
The film came out 10 years before Dr. Beeching's axe fell on many of the branch lines around the UK. The cost of running the branch lines wasn't cheap, and even with the help of some of the locals from the pub, it would have been very difficult for many areas to keep their branch lines open. It's good to see that a film like the Titfield Thunderbolt exists though, a gentle comedy showing the love of a small village for its branch line and the trains that used to run along it.